Peace, family. Queen here. I've got a bit of bad news and I've got a bit of good news. The bad news is, and you should already be aware of this if you're in crypto and you're in Bitcoin. The bad news is that the traditional financial system wants to continue to financially rape you. That's their agenda. They want to see you broke. They want to see you destitute. They want to see you dependent upon their system that doesn't work. And they want that to go for generations and generations and generations through your family. That's the way that the system works. This is not Queen saying this. This is not conspiracy theory. These are the facts. I'm going to get to this here in just a minute, but let's go here. I want you to put in whatever search engine you use. Put in UCC 8 section 501. I want you to Google it, put it in whatever search engine, right? Swiss cows, whatever search engine, DuckDuck, whichever one you use. Put in UCC 8 501. Now, in 1994, 95, don't quote me on this date, but this section of the Uniform Commercial Code was changed, all right? This was changed to basically give every single financial institution the ability to take any asset that you think you own. Because there are a lot of people walking around thinking that they own their homes, thinking that they own their cars, thinking that they own stocks, thinking that they own mutual funds and different financial assets. When you read through this section here and study it, you'll find out that every single asset that you think you own has been securitized, right? Every single asset. I could go way back. If you're from the U.S., born in the U.S., I could go way back to how your birth certificate has been securitized and is being traded, and there's money being made off of it, right? But now, this here is in plain sight. That information back then, you really have to do some study and stuff like that. I don't even want to go down that road, right? But just looking at the financial sector, because I talked to you all about Bitcoin, about crypto, about financial freedom and things of that nature, right? So you some of these things that I bring to you are a bit deep, especially for a person that doesn't even understand money and what true money is and what commerce is and what system, the traditional financial system, what monetary system they operate under, right? I'll give you two other things you may want to put in your notes and study, right? Study Keynesian economics. Keynesian economics. John Maynard Keynes is the inventor, or whatever you want to call it, of that philosophy, right? Which is, to continue to print more and more money to pay off the debt, which will never happen with that particular philosophy, right? So Keynesian economics versus Austrian economics. Austrian economics is the camp that I resonate with, right? Austrian economics basically is a philosophy that says, if you're a business and you don't know how to balance your books and you don't know how to hire the right people to ensure that you don't go insolvent, that tough luck. If the books doesn't balance, you go insolvent, right? So it's true capitalism, right? But as you know from just as recent as the housing crisis, that's not the philosophy that this system is built upon. The system is built upon, too big to fail. If you're too big and you got pull within the system, we'll bail you out. And it's not saying we'll bail you out. What they're saying is the taxpayers will bail them out, because the government, the banks, they don't pull money out of their pocket. It all comes from the taxpayers. And that's what this is showing you here in plain sight. UCC Section 8501. It's telling you everything, every asset that you think you own is securitized. It's traded. It's put on collateral to borrow more money, to print more money, right? Now, the only saving grace, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, okay? You have to do your own research, come up with your own opinion. But the only saving grace, in my opinion, and I always say, oof, thank Jah, thank the Most High, that Bitcoin, the algorithm, was created and put out. The open source code was created and put out to create a fair monetary system, right? We have the legitimacy of Bitcoin now because of the ETFs, right? They couldn't beat them, so they had to join them. That's how that went, okay? So thank the Most High that we have this alternative system to keep our hard-earned labor, to keep our hard-earned wealth from those that want to take it from you, and they're telling you in plain sight. In fact, let me show you this video, all right? And then I'm going to get back to the great taking, because I want each of you to really to look at that, right? And I've got the video sped up a little bit just because I'm doing this video, and that's the way I watch videos is I speed it up 1.5, sometimes even as high as 2 times the normal speed, because if you look at the science says if you have information coming at you at a faster speed, you actually retain more of the information. All right. So anyways, that's just a little side note. But check this guy out here. All right. This guy is Klaus Schwab. He is the founder of the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum and the IMF work hand in hand, right? They're buddies. And this is a quote that he said, and this is talking about you, me, and every other single person on this planet around the entire globe. This is his ethos. Quote, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it. All right? That's what he's saying. We're going to rob you right in front of your face. We're going to rob you blind. We're going to continue to financially rape you. We're going to take your children's prosperity, and you're going to be happy about it. Well, if you're operating in the traditional financial space only, then you don't have another choice. You don't have another choice, because yeah, you can go over here, you can trade this stock or that stock, or you can do options, you can do derivatives, you can do this, you can do that, but it's all up under the same traditional financial system. And at the end of the day, right here in front of your face, it's all securitized. You don't own any of it. And this whole changing of this is a segue into them trying to usher in CBDs, central bank digital currency, CBDC. That's the whole agenda, okay? But again, thank the Most High that we have Bitcoin, because with everything that I've talked to you about up to this point, I'm talking about TradFi, traditional financial, right? We have something DeFi now, decentralized finance, where there is no, middle gatekeeper, middleman, so to speak, where you can operate, with your crypto and the platform, make your returns, and there's no middle person in there with their hand out wanting their unfair cut. Okay? So, I'm just sounding the alarm again, as I've been doing. I've been sounding the alarm for years and years and years. Some people will hear it. A lot of people won't. A lot of people will just continue on with the status quo, thinking that everything is, great, that their government would never do anything to them that would harm them, that they're, Elected officials have their best interest at heart. Listen, this thing is not, it's not friendly. It's not friendly. It's just business to them. It's just business to keep you, in financial poverty. It's just business. The whole reason that Bitcoin was created back in 2009 and put out was it's actually in the blockchain. It's in the code. The first Genesis block. You can read it where it talks about Chancellor on the brink. It's talking about, right, the ongoing, the continuous printing of money, which devalues your money, which devalues your labor, which makes it where you go to the store to buy groceries and you're getting, one bag for 4 times the price that you used to pay 10 years ago, where you're going to the gas station to fill up your truck and you're paying, double the amount for a gallon of gas that you used to, right? This is all by design. This is all because of the printing of money, the printing of fiat. Well, with Bitcoin, you can't do that. You can't do that with Bitcoin. It's written in the code. It's a deflationary, algorithmic technology. It's deflationary. It's the fairest money that we've ever seen on the planet. It's a hard cap of only 21 million. It's scarce, it's rare, it's seizure proof, it's unconfiscatable, can't be levied, can't be taxed, can't be seized. Some call it God's money. Okay? All right, so I don't want to go too deep on that. I want you to, do your research here and understand that, in my opinion, because of Bitcoin, which spawned the entire cryptocurrency industry and the entire DeFi industry, we now have an option to continue to participate in a system that's unfair, right? That does not have your best interest at heart. Or you can jump over here and participate in a system that's fair, that's equitable, and that actually can, if you have things set up properly, give you better yield than you would ever get in the traditional financial system, right? So now let's take a look at this documentary. And if you go into YouTube and you just put in the Great Taking documentary, it's only an hour and 11 minutes. Again, I speed my stuff up, so probably listen to it in less time than that. But anyways, I've got it sped up here. So if you want to watch it on normal speed, just put it in YouTube and watch it. And I implore you, I highly encourage you to watch it. This is no joke. This is no joke. What's going on, and it's been going on right in plain sight. Anyways, I'll do the first part, and then I'm gonna fast forward to the part where I really want you to listen to.
My name is David Webb.
Okay, that's the author there, David Webb. I watched an entire interview with him and Daniela a few days ago. Let me get to the part that I really want you to hear right now. And then, like I said, you can pull it up and listen to it on your own at normal speed if you want or whatever. All right, so here we go.
And then a second run for the top that fails. And that's where we are now. If you step back and you look at something like the NASDAQ index, the second top that's failing now, which is understandable given that bond yields are continuing straight up. So when this begins imploding, the insolvencies will increase due to the level of debt. And there will be an automatic call for more collateral that will be transferred transferred into the derivatives complex and the central clearing counterparties. But the central clearing counterparties are themselves likely exposed to the collapse, because I say to people that you may think that you've hedged your exposure to a decline here, but you've done it through the derivatives complex. So the risk is in the derivatives complex. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't go away. It's all there. And this pain will accumulate in the central clearing counterparties, and then they will fail. And they're basically telling us they will fail. And when that happens, the people that thought that they had hedged their exposure, included the most sophisticated institutions and the pension funds, will have no protection. And the secured creditors will take all of the underlying stocks and bonds, which then gives them control of all public corporations. And once you control the capitalization structure, you then control all.
Did you hear that he said the secured creditors, right? So all of your assets, because of the change that they made with the UCC code that I shared with you, all of your assets pretty much have been, and you don't know that you're signing this, like when you open up bank accounts and brokerage accounts and all of these different things, you don't know in the fine print that that's what it's saying. It's saying that, hey, we are the secured creditor. You are now an unsecured creditor. Thank you very much for your assets.
All of the underlying real things. So this is something like what happened in the 1930s when there was distress globally everywhere due to debt levels. And you would think that there were no winners, but there were, because the banks that were controlled by the Federal Reserve, for example, in the U.S., were slated to survive. 9,000 banks in the United States were forced into failure. The people who had money in those banks lost all their cash, but their debts were not canceled. Their debts were then consolidated into the Federal Reserve System.
You hear what he just said? He said the banks failed. The money that was in these banks, they took, because when you open up a bank account, you are an unsecured creditor, right? Don't even believe the hype with FDIC insurance. They're insolvent right now. We found that out just recently with the bank failures, Silicon Valley and a couple of other ones here just recently over the last 2 years or so. Right? Then he said, they took your cash and they told you still owe any debt. So if you have a mortgage with us, if you have an auto loan with us, even though we're insolvent and we're going to get our stuff wiped out and cleaned by the feds, you still owe your debt.
And enforced. So people that were in debt were in trouble. Even wealthy people lost everything. The difference this time around is they're not going after just property that is encumbered by debt. They've engineered this so they can take things, all securities as collateral, from people and entities that have no borrowings against them. They own them clear and outright. Now let me give you an example as an analogy to explain the horror of this. So you have bought a car and you paid cash for it. You think you're being very conservative. You have no debt against the car. But unbeknownst to you, the dealer continues to control your car as collateral. You're not told this. The dealer uses your car and all the other cars sold by the dealer as collateral for his borrowing in his business. Now, the dealer goes bust, and only certain secured creditors are empowered to immediately take your car and all the cars ever sold by the dealer without any judicial review immediately. When I describe this to people, they get worried about their cars. This is not about your car. This is an analogy for what has been done. It's much worse than this being about your car, because it is literally about the entire securities complex globally. So it is not about your insolvency that causes the loss of your assets. It's the insolvency of the people that secretly used your collateral as their property without telling you that or disclosing it.
I don't even know what to say after that. All I can tell you, family, is figure out a way, if you haven't, figure out a way that you can, slowly, if not quickly, move the greater part of your portfolio from the traditional financial system into the decentralized financial system, right? It's the only system that's designed where it doesn't matter, about anything. It's just math at the end of the day. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you actually do something. I say a lot of good stuff, and it falls on the majority of deaf ears, and I just see it. I've been seeing it, but it won't stop me. It won't stop me from sharing this information, because if only one person, takes this and does something to help themselves and to help their families and their children's children, then my job is done. My job is done. So I'll see you in the next video.